Hi, Raiders. It's me, Mrs. Swanson. I'm coming to you from Raider Blue, and I want to talk to you about another one of our Black History Literature Month books. This one is called Stamped, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we have two authors up here. The first author you recognize, you can't see it there, Jason Reynolds. Um, if you check out the right across from Raider White, there is a bulletin board created with Jason Reynolds' work. Incredible. But this Ibram Kendi, he is originally the author of the book that this is kind of taken from. It says on the bottom, it's a remix of a book that this author had written, and it's called Stamped from the Beginning. So I'm going to read you just the first paragraph from him, and then I'm going to dive into Jason Reynolds' spin on everything. I do want to pay mention in the back of this book. I'm a history buff, and I do like to know factual information. They have every single piece of source information. So in chapter 3, when they reference something, they will tend to tell you exactly where you need to go to find more information, which is where a person like me as a sixth grader would have been. I told you I'm going to read the first paragraph from Stamped from the Beginning's author. I'm going to do that, and then I'll pop into chapter 1. By the way, thank you for pushing yourself out of your typical genre and heading into some of our titles. Dear reader, to know the past is to know the present. To know the present is to know yourself. I write about the history of racism to understand racism today. I want to understand racism today to understand how it is affecting me today. And I want you to understand racism today to understand how it is affecting you and America today. Now, again, that's the author of Stamped from the Beginning. Now we're going to dive into Jason Reynolds' piece of this. Remember, this stamped version is a remix. Chapter 1, The Story of the World's First Racist. Before we begin, let's get something straight. This is not a history book. I repeat, not a history book. Or at least not like the ones you're used to reading in school. The one that feel more like a list of dates, there will be some, with an occasional war here and there, and a declaration, definitely got to mention that, a constitution, that too, a course case or two, and then of course a paragraph that's read during Black History Month. Harriet, Rosa, Martin, this isn't that. This isn't a history book, or at least it's not that kind of history book. Instead, what it is a book that contains history, a history directly connected to our lives as we live them right this minute. This is a present book, a book about the here and the now, a book that will hopefully help us better understand why we are where we are as Americans, specifically as our identity pertains to race. Uh-oh, the R word, which for many of us still feels rated R. Or can it be matched with the only other R word? Run, but don't. Let's all just take a big deep breath in, inhale, hold it, exhale, and breathe out R-A-C-E. See, not so bad, except for the fact that race has been a strange and persistent poison in Americans' history, which I'm sure you already know. I'm also sure that depending on where you are or where you've grown up, your experiences with it, or at least the very moment in which you recognize it, may vary. Some may believe race isn't an issue anymore, that it's a thing of the past, old tales of bad times. Others may be certain that race is like an alligator, a dinosaur that never went extinct, but instead it evolved. And though hiding in murky swamp waters, that leftover monster is still deadly. And then there are those of you who know that race and, more critical, racism are everywhere. Those of you who see racism regularly robbing people of liberty, whether it's a violent stick up or a sly pickpocket, the thief known as racism is all around. This book, this not history book, this present book is meant to take you on a race journey from then to now to show you why we feel how we feel, why we live how we live, and why this poison, whether recognizable or unrecognizable, whether it's a scream or just a whisper won't yet go away. Check out Stamped. It's in your media center right behind me. And just a reminder, if you finish a book by a Black author or with a main Black character or significant Black character in it, check with your language arts teacher or your core area teacher to fill out a form, and we will place that in for you. Thank you so much for joining us.